There's another way to end a loop that is sometimes more convenient, or sometimes it's a better way. And that is using break. Okay, you'll see that this does basically the same thing, except I'm back here to while true. So this loop will go forever and ever. Infinite loop, which by the way is the name of the street that Apple's headquarters was originally built on. It was, their address was 1 infinite loop. So while true, so x equals 1, and it's going to increment and it's going to print this. But now I've got an if statement. Notice the if statement is inside the loop. The if is indented one space, and then the break statement inside the if is indented 2. So you can see the outline here. So this, every time it runs through the loop, it's now going to ask, is x equal to 4? When that's true, it will break. Break exits whatever loop you're in. So this is a slightly different way to do it. So if I change this to while true, you'll see that right now this says, hey, we got to highlight this code because it's never going to run this code, which is true. It never will, because this loop will just go forever and ever. But if I add the if statement inside it, notice the indentation. Let's make it 100. Break. Okay, so now I've got a while loop with an if statement inside it. Okay, the indentation is critical here. And when you start putting ifs and whiles inside of each other, it's easy to get confused, but make sure your indentation is properly done. That's going to be 85% of the mistakes the class will make when we're doing loops, is indentation problems. Okay, so if I run this, now it will count not to 4, but 100, or almost to 100, right? Because I said equals 100. Notice that when it equals 100, it stops. It never prints it's equal to 100. Here's a tricky question. Did x actually reach 100 if it didn't print at 100? Yes, it did. Because it prints it's true 99, and then on the next line we add 1 to it, which makes it 100. So it did print that it was 100. Here's an interesting thing. If I just switch those two lines, now it will print 100, because it's becoming 100, then it's printing 100. What it won't ever do is start at 0, because it's 0 here. It enters the loop and immediately becomes 1. So again, paying attention to the starting number and your condition for ending the loop can have some unintentional effects, unintended effects on how your code runs. So it's good to pay attention. But that's 2 different ways to get out of a loop. Every time you do a loop, every time you start a loop, you should probably ask yourself, how does this loop break? Because an infinite loop isn't really a good thing. In 99.9% of cases, you don't want an infinite loop. Okay?